Okay, so it's 2:30 and I think the majority of participants are already with us, so thank you for that, for your prompt attendance. This is Young Dementia Network webinar, tea time webinar. Today it's Normali-tea, and we have the lovely PACE group offering this to us today. We hold these monthly, and we've had a wonderful array of topics, but I just wanted to mention that PACE started our webinars back in October 2020, and today is just closing for the season, so to speak, so that's great. Panelists are going to be seen and heard throughout if they wish to be. But just a reminder for attendees that you won't be seen and you won't be heard. But that's not to say that we don't want you to contribute fully, because we would like you to very much use the chat function and the Q&A function. And I hope there'll be a little time at the end to pick up those questions. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Liz, and I'm sure she'll be introducing the panelists to us.
Thank you, Tessa. So hello everyone, welcome to our webinar, Normality, which is going to be about adapting to the easing of COVID restrictions. We are PACE, we're a peer support group from Oxfordshire, and we meet monthly on Zoom at the moment, although I know we'd all like to meet face to face at some point again. PACE stands for Positivists, Activists, Consultants and Educators, and we are members of the DEEP network, and we do like to have a good chat, don't we?
We do.
So I'll do some quick introductions. I'm Liz, I facilitate the group and I work as a young onset dementia advisor. So let's meet everyone. Edward.
Yeah, I'm Edward. I have a diagnosis of posterior cortical atrophy, which I received in 2019, and I'm trying to live as positively with it as I possibly can.
Thank you. Let's go to Des.
Hi, I'm Des, and I was diagnosed with dementia about 3 years ago. And I'm living as well as I can in the circumstances.
Thank you. Let's go to JD.
I've been diagnosed as having Alzheimer's disease 3 years ago, and I've been living with it from then, well supported by my family, and yeah, get around.
Thank you. And Maeve?
Yes, I'm Maeve, and I was diagnosed just before Christmas, and I'm originally from Dublin, but I've been in Oxford for more than 30 years now.
Thank you. And we'll go to John.
Hi, my name is John. I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's in January 21.
Thank you.
That's which is right in the middle of the pandemic, I think so.
So, and last but not least, let's go to Jude.
Same. I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's in January.
Thank you. So to start with our discussion, let's talk a little bit about how the pandemic has affected you and your dementia. And you know, what are the kind of issues that you've kind of come across since we've started being in lockdowns?
Shall I start?
Go on, Maeve, you go.
I think the worst thing for me with lockdown was that I was in the hospital and I got the diagnosis, and the only way I could contact all my family was by FaceTime, and that was probably the worst other things are awkward, but I think that was the worst thing for me.
Nobody plans to get dementia.
Yeah.
It's not on anybody's wish list or bucket list.
Mm.
And so when it hits you hard, and it hits you where it hurts most, in the unexpected.
Yeah.
And I think from living and talking to all the people who are participating in this moment, it's true of all of us. We were surprised by dementia. I didn't know what dementia was. And I suspect many other people feel the same way. I'll come back to you on that.
I think I was. I mean, my mother had dementia, but she was much older. You know, she kind of had it at a good age, and really struggled with it. So it was a bit of a shock for me to have it so young, but also I think that having seen how she managed her dementia, I knew that I didn't want to do the same thing. I wanted to do it differently, you know, and yeah. So yeah, actually. But I don't think Mum had the same support. But you know, she had she did have support, but not like this, not like the PACE group.
I was amazed when I found out I had early onset Alzheimer's. I assumed it was some sort of bug, but which I was got in January, and not January, in sort of October time. To get the diagnosis, it was just didn't know where that came from, and I still don't, to be honest. I don't think.
Can you tell me a little bit about how being in the lockdown and receiving that news, how that's, you know, the kind of effects that is, that, you know, what would you do in normal times?
I don't know. So it's normal time. I'd be carrying on working. But then obviously when our boss saw there was something not quite right with me, which he could see, I probably couldn't see, being too close. I still didn't believe in it until I got the diagnosis from the expert. So it was. It felt so isolated, I think, as well, especially at that time.
There are days when I still can't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't think you get over it at all. You just soften the blow.
What about you, Edward? Tell us about your lockdown.
Yeah, my lockdown's been all right because I've been at home, so it's not adversely affected me particularly. I still like to get out and do my 10,000 steps a day and things like that when I can, and I probably won't be going out today though, because it's a bit warm out there. But yeah, normally I would certainly do that, and it's enjoyable doing it. It gets me out in the fresh air, and I enjoy walking about and doing. I go the same route every day, so that I don't get lost.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So
You'll be dropping little white pieces of paper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
or a trail of breadcrumbs, maybe.
Yeah, breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs.
That's interesting though. So, you know, with the kind of ever-changing social rules that we've been experiencing over the last year or so, does that affect you as a person with a diagnosis, or do you just, you know, like you said, keep to the same routes?
Well, for me, I just stick to the same route, so I know where I'm going, and just deal with it that way, really. So
I still manage to get lost.
But
that'll be on your bike, Des, won't it?
It is, yes. I either lose my bike or I lose myself.
But is that because you're going on new routes, or are they routes that you've always been on and you just
No, I mean, it can happen to me when I'm on familiar routes as well. But I go into town and try and do some shopping, and I just get lost. I lose my way. I lose my route. It's distressing.
So for the people out there kind of listening to us, Des, what do you do to try and combat that getting lost, and how do you deal with it when you are lost?
Well, I think the whole concept of lost is really significant in all of this. It's about loss of the bicycle, loss of the way, loss of where you're going, loss of the future. So getting lost can be interpreted in a wide range of meanings. And what can you do to help the situation? Well, it's first of all about not making sure that you don't continue to feel lost, that you get out there and you latch on to people and things that are happening, so that you regain a sense of where and who you are.
I find
I've got a
difficult.
strategy for dealing with such things. I have a list. I have lists on my and they're in the inside of my cupboard door, and so I can remember how to make my breakfast, for example. I mean, I know it sounds a silly thing, but it just helps me to do things like that, and that's incredibly helpful.
Nothing's a silly thing.
No, that's true.
Jonathan, were you going to say something?
I was going to say something about losing things and putting things down. I didn't realise when I was diagnosed what comes with it, and what comes with it is a whole understanding of trying to get your brain on another level. And in that case, then you're not actually working as well as you used to. And therefore you'll get quite cross with yourself because you can't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Which is really upsetting.
But
And
other
you
people
look
get
back and
frustrated
think,
with
well,
you
why
as
have I
well.
got it? Yeah.
Other people get frustrated as well with you and all of us. I mean, many of our partners find it very frustrating living with us, because what seems simple to them is very complicated to us, and can end up doing it very slowly, very inefficiently.
It's the little things which get me. I find the little things are if you say, right, we're going for a walk, I'd probably spend 30 minutes trying to find my flipping key for the door.
Oh yeah.
I haven't done my walk, but I've come back anyway.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it is like that. I mean, we talked before about the bicycle and where you put it. Eventually, if you remember. Difficult. You'd never think it would be, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because what comes through from you guys is that actually the ways that you deal with this is by actually, the first thing is to have a sense of humor. So you're all laughing and smiling about, not being able to find your keys and missing a walk. But I can imagine that becomes quite frustrating.
Yeah.
Having a sense of humor with this is absolutely vital.
Yeah.
If you've lost the ability to laugh at yourself, then you're a lost cause in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think this is why this group is such a success, because we do a lot of laughing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all right to laugh.
And we're lucky to have each other as a weekly support.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's made a big difference to all of us, I think.
I just don't know what I would have done because of lockdown. I couldn't contact physically with people other than my husband, and who has been amazing, obviously. But it's so it takes away something from you, doesn't it? What I feel like so I was diagnosed just before Christmas, and I reckon if there was no lockdown, I would have been, buying in the sales in January and going it, but I couldn't, and I've actually spent 6 months like trying to be safe and not able to drive, and it just took away things that might not have needed to be taken away.
I had I've got a sort of different version, because I was volunteering before the pandemic started, and I just carried on going through. So I've been out and about doing the same things with a mask, of course, and all sorts of, gels and all that sort of stuff to wash yourself. But I haven't stopped at all, and it's been an absolute godsend. And I've been delivering to people who have been in the house for over a year and stuff like that. And so it's been quite positive for me, actually. And it's actually made me think, because before it started, and I knew that something was going wrong with me, thought it was menopause, obviously, because it's all the same. Every time I talk to any woman over 45, they say, oh God, I've got the same symptoms as you.
Yes.
Like, no, you haven't.
It is very true. Yeah, everyone says the same thing.
Yeah. But it's not. It's not
really not.
It's not the same.
I'd rather it was.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I was hoping I was having a really shitty menopause, and there you go.
Yeah.
But in terms of being out and about, the pandemic hasn't really changed anything for me, because I've still been doing my stuff. I can still drive. I have to be tested every year. And I do the same route on every day. Occasionally I go the wrong way, or I don't know where I'm going. I suddenly think, don't tell my boss, I suddenly think, oh God, where am I? Where is this? And I don't know where I am at all. It's really bizarre. Yeah. And then I suddenly come back.
Yes, it does that. I've had that. So
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't driving, but I was in a car, and I was looking in my handbag for something, and I looked up again, and I'm like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah. Where's Aldi?
No, it's fine.
It's very odd. It's very odd.
Plays lots of tricks.
So as restrictions are kind of easing, and life, is coming back to normality, what are there kind of things that you think, oh, I haven't done that for a few months, I'm not really comfortable about doing that again? Is there anything that has kind of stopped you from, unlike Jude, who's just kept going? Are there anything that's worrying? Or
I'm much more hesitant about using public transport. Not for any arrogant reasons, I hope, but just because these are terribly uncertain times, and we're getting very uncertain and potentially unreliable messages from our politicians.
Yeah.
So you don't know. You don't know what taking this medicine, if you like, or this response, whether it'll be good for us in the long run. May well be very bad. I don't wish to be a negative voice, but we know so little, really, despite all the very really amazing efforts on the part of the scientists. It's still all very uncertain.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, isn't it true that there's going to be a million of us with early onset in the near future?
Yes.
Yes.
Why? Because of the population?
No, just numbers. Numbers will be, it will be over a million people with early onset dementia.
Mhm. What? Oh.
I think that's to do with numbers, probably with diagnosis as well. So as it becomes more recognised, more people will receive that diagnosis.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But we'll know what to do. We'll be ahead of the game.
Unless we forget.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, luckily we're recording this webinar, so you can rewatch it back and remind yourselves. John, can we talk a little bit about, I know that you're a big Chelsea fan and
Yes.
would have gone to football matches, and now you're a bit reluctant, aren't you, to
Not at the moment, no. I'm keen to go. Is that the wrong answer? Is it?
No, that's the right answer.
That's right,
Good.
is it? Yeah, no. So no, I've got to that point now. It's like, yeah, I think I need to see if I can go, and I think I can go. So I just want to confirm that.
Who's your
There were
team?
other things that were, sorry,
Who's your team?
Chelsea.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Everyone has a cluster there, John.
That's a very sad okay.
Everybody does.
I had to stop myself saying, serves you right,
But you didn't.
but I didn't. It slipped out.
Never mind.
So what's great to hear is that you guys are out and active, and you don't stop these things, you know, from stopping you what you want to do. And I'm sure that the people kind of listening to this would really like to know where you get that motivation from, and that kind of, you know, that kind of energy and that kind of confidence to keep doing what you want to do.
It's just about, for me, it's just about being positive and not giving in to the blessed thing, and just getting, you know, just yes, acknowledging it's there, but getting on with your life as well as you possibly can.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no planet B, or whatever the term is. You know, there is no plan B, and so I've got to accept it, and I've got to get on with it, and that's it. So
We're all dealt a certain hand of cards, and
Yeah.
we have to do our best with the cards that we are dealt.
I think also, what I've learned is, you know, to do as much as I can, and, you know, keep motivated and stuff, but also to recognize when I'm knackered and my brain can't function. I don't know if anybody else has that.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
absolutely,
goes
yeah.
complete fug, and I
Yeah.
can't do a thing. And so I make it like, I don't want to get depressed about it, so I just like go away and have a little nap, or, you know, just be miserable in some in a room somewhere, you know, and then really enjoy the up times, you know.
Yeah.
So it's it's kind of quite extreme, like, you know, really happy, or, you know, that.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
Maybe give yourself permission.
Yeah.
Give yourself
Yeah.
permission to acknowledge those hard times, knowing that you can take some good times a little later.
Yeah. Yeah.
I refer to them as foggy days. I
Yeah.
have foggy days.
Yeah, foggy. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
And it's and when it descends, it can be somewhat challenging.
Yeah.
Mm.
It is, isn't it? And it for you, it's like a sort of physical thing as well. Like my head just goes like that. I can feel everything just going. It's nothing's going to work. My eyes go heavy, and my partner's like, "Oh God, look at your eyes. You better go and lie down."
Yeah.
But you know, it's like that.
But I mean, if you have had a very active life, like I think most of us have, it's quite hard to accept that we have a kind of reduced functionality.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We can accept that, and we can make the best of our lives in spite of the challenges.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
is all about hope.
I think so.
Yeah,
it's about
and
acceptance.
simplicity of life as
Yeah.
well, which you know everybody needs a bit of, really.
Yes.
Jonathan, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that in my when I'm in doing the what am I trying to say? Oxfam, all the Oxfam stuff.
Yeah.
I do it twice a week, and I do it not because I'm dead keen on getting the books and all the rest of it. I'm doing it because I've got an opportunity to talk to normal people, and it's really quite uplifting when they sort of say, "No, you haven't got. No, you can't have." And you say, yes, I've got Alzheimer's disease. Hence the reason I'm walking over there.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Mm.
you've got to look after yourself. Go do what you want to do. There's no reason not to.
Good advice.
At this time now, it's obviously too late.
It's a lot harder for it's a lot harder for much younger people who have still got a working life ahead of them.
Mm.
It's very tough for those people. In a way where, we've been across the top of the hill and we're coming down the other side.
Mm.
And the path is easier.
It's a long fall.
Mm.
I do feel a loss of confidence, which I haven't previously had, I don't think, in a working life.
Mm. I think I once, even though I hated the diagnosis, but it gave me a reason to be able to say, you know what, I have Alzheimer's. That's why, at work, things that when I would miss the wrong time for the briefing or things like that, it was just, or going to the printer and getting things and then leaving them somewhere else and then not finding them and all of these things. And I really love having my little dementia little card. So when I had to go to Boots and to get a test before we were going to fly over to Ireland, the app, I couldn't understand it. I tried really hard to do it, and I was afraid to say tick the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, whatever. And so I went into Boots with my little dementia card and said, could somebody help me, because I don't know how to do it? And they just said, give me a moment, I'll get somebody. And somebody came on and just gave me a slot and put it. And I'm like, so like it was so easy. And if you're like free to say to people that you have this disease, people will react, I hope, in a positive way.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I wear my lanyard when we're going shopping. And that's great, because it helps a great deal, and people recognise, and I'm not worried about that people knowing that I've got early onset dementia. I mean, it's just it goes with the territory, and therefore, really.
That's right. That's right. And people can be very helpful. There are loads of nice people out there. I lost my car one day. I parked it in Sainsbury and came back to where I thought it was, and it wasn't there anymore. And I felt very stupid because, you know, I'm a grown man and I lost my car. And there's this tall guy walking around, and he said to me, you know, you've lost your car, haven't you? And I had to admit it, I had. And he very kindly helped me find the car. He was very tall, so he could see over the roofs of the vehicles. And, you know, within a few minutes, I was able to find the car and also feel good about allowing another person into my life to help me. It was okay. It's all right. You can do it.
Yeah. My very first time to go on the bus on my own into town after lockdown, I was like being really brave and going on my own. And when the bus, all ready with everything ready to go, and I get onto the bus, and he says, "Where's your mask?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." Fall on the first hurdle that was, but I haven't done it since. I've got it now, but it's but that was like brilliant for me, that I had like lost confidence just because of being at home, not being at work, not having, like, I kind of jealous of you that you were able to carry on doing what you were doing. And yeah, but you're inspiring me now to get something different.
Come with me, come with the van.
Yeah, lovely. One way we'll find a way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. 2 headless chickens in Oxford.
Yeah. Two brains, but kind of. Yeah.
That loss of confidence is a really important issue, because it's easy to lose confidence. It's much harder to build it back up. So I wonder if you've got any advice or tips of how have you built your confidence up, or how do you keep your confidence or not lose it?
I think that's a life-changing question in terms of creating. I mean, my world's got so much smaller and manageable. You know, I can't, like, I think it's like, I went to a big choir thing in Hogacre Field the other day, and, you know, it was great, but then there comes a point, there's too many people and I have to go because there's too much stuff coming in and out of my brain, and I can't cope with it. So it's about containing what you can do and doing the best you can do in that little reduced bit of your life, you know, and and getting the most out of that bit rather than worrying about the whole world. I mean,
and not see that as deficient.
Closer.
See that as an achievement.
Yeah. Little things.
Yeah. Little victories.
Little victories. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I'm always reminded of Barack Obama on these occasions, and his wonderful mantra, "Yes, we can."
Yes, we can. They say it on the terraces. Yeah, yes, we can. I think it's about that. It's about living a simple, rich life, isn't it?
Yes, that's a really good description. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we frozen, or are we just not talking?
No, I just think that was quite a poignant thing to say. So I think we were all just thinking about that.
We were zenning. We were zen.
Because it's interesting, because, you know, when people first get a diagnosis, they feel that their world has fallen apart.
Yeah.
And what you guys are saying is it's about building you know, a quality, what's important to you kind of world around you. And I think there's an element of acceptance happening with you guys, that perhaps when you first get that news that you don't accept it. And I wonder how you got to that acceptance and what helped you, perhaps.
You did.
Yeah, you, exactly.
Well put.
I was going to say that was you.
Well done. Quite right.
Yeah, and you were like my lifeline for those early. Yeah, absolutely. And just walked us through all that we needed to know. And honestly, you made it so easy for me to just say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to enjoy my life. I know it's going to be difficult, and I know it's going to be so much worse for my husband, my daughter, my family. But I want to make the best that I can make it be for me and all my loved ones.
Yeah.
So there's something about asking for help, isn't there, and seeking support.
What's that course that you do? The is it I was going to say, was that Advent or something? Or no?
It's called Adapt.
Adapt. That's the one. Yeah.
Adapt.
I found that incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Is that what we did? Is that what we all did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was really brilliant.
It was. Yeah.
I don't remember that. Was I not there?
Oh, it was just we did an Adapt sessions.
Okay.
Two of us.
They were like one-to-ones, though, weren't they? They were just like
But really important again to seek to get that support and that advice and that help. And I think some people don't. They kind of try and manage, and they don't talk things through, and they can't access that kind of support.
What I would say secondary from the help that you gave us with that is the group, because we're all in the same place, so and we're all.
Can you imagine all of us going on holiday?
No,
it's some caravan site, that, wouldn't it?
Yes. But it's so lovely to be able to talk to people who have similar things going on. It's great.
I think that's really important to share with people, is that our group, our peer support group, has been, and we've been together all the way from the beginning of the pandemic all the way through to where we are now. And I'd be interested to hear what how that has helped.
What
Was it?
You're referring to the Thursday sessions?
To the PACE group meeting monthly.
Yeah.
See, I know no difference. I think it's brilliant. That's all I can say.
Because are they, that group, is that the same as you had before and you met in like parks and had tea and stuff?
Yeah, so we would meet in a pub.
Oh, in a pub. Okay.
And we moved to Zoom when we weren't allowed to meet.
Wait till we're allowed.
There's a very helpful man who serves
Yes.
coffee.
Our jolly barman.
Yeah. Very helpful. Here it is. I'll not do that.
I can't wait for all these events and all things to come. Yeah, so I say, I'll be so excited.
What pub is it?
Well, I don't know, but people were saying that they used to go to the theatre and go to the cinema. And no, I'm like, well, this is going to be great. I love it. But is it true?
Yeah, no, we were quite active. We we got stopped from being able to do things. But I mean, that leads me quite nicely onto a question for all of you, which is, if you met somebody with a diagnosis who wanted to get out and be active, what advice would you give them?
Get a dog.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we've got a little dog who basically is a superb substitute from psychotherapy. He's great. He's lovely, lovely little fellow, and he drags me around the local lanes every morning, rain or shine, and I'm very grateful to him.
Doesn't get lost.
No, fortunately, he doesn't get lost. He manages to retrieve me as well. No, he's great. Really, though, seriously, if you can, if it suits your lifestyle, having a dog is a great thing. It's a very good morale raiser.
It's top of the list.
Yeah.
They give you so much fun, don't they?
Yeah.
Edward, have you got any advice?
Me?
Edward.
Oh.
I think for me, it's just, I think it's more about just staying as positive as you possibly can, and that for me is key. And I've got the diagnosis. There's nothing I can do about it. Life goes on, and I will continue to carry on as long as I'm able to.
There's nothing you can do about the diagnosis.
No.
But you can make personal choices as to how
Absolutely,
you live within the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
There are still choices. It's not just about hanging around waiting to die.
No way. I've been waiting so long to get retirement. so I tell you.
You're bloody well hanging out for it now, are you?
I am now, yeah.
But we're coming nearly to the end, really, and we've got some fabulous questions from the people watching us. I'd like to move to some of those if you're happy to do that. So Sean Donahoe's asked, he says, it's for Des, this question. So Des, when you get lost in town, what do you do to find a familiar place to get yourself back on track?
I now park my bike outside a familiar shop. So I might park it outside Boots, and then I go off and do my shopping. And I will have taken a photograph of Boots and my bike at the place where I went off to do my shopping. And then I can consult my camera and see that I need to get back to Boots, and then I'll find my bike.
Haven't you painted your bike a different color or something?
No, it's still resolutely silver.
Okay.
But I find the taking the quick photograph seems to help a lot. It jogs the memory.
And we've got a question for Maeve. So Maeve, was it your choice to stop driving? And if not, have you applied to have a driving assessment to establish that you shouldn't be driving?
So on the day of the diagnosis, I was told that I'm not allowed to drive. I can take a test. So that was the 23rd. I've got a medical what do you call
appointment?
Mm-hmm. The thing that you need to get for a driving license. I've got a medical driving license for a year, and I have no dates whatsoever for when I could potentially have a chance to have a test. But I just, again, I don't know, confidence-wise, it's been 6.5 months since I've been, and I haven't been driving. So I just have to wait. It's delayed because of COVID and everything else. Yeah.
annoying.
Thank you. And we've got another question. This is for everybody, so pitch in. So it says, can I ask how you feel about the restrictions being lifted now, and does this make you feel less comfortable about going out?
It does to me, I think, still. I feel it's still, I haven't really been out much, but been out a reasonable amount. But to have the world and his wife all of a sudden appearing in towns and various places. It's to Blenheim Palace the weekend, and there's people everywhere. But I think you have to do it for you rather than just do it because you've been told to do it. So it has to be something driven by yourself.
Thumbs up from Edward there.
Sorry, what was it? Can you say it again? So that because
Yeah, sure.
Saying I can't remember it.
No, that's okay. So how do you feel about the restrictions being lifted? And does that make you feel less comfortable about going out?
You know what? That was another thing that was really difficult for me. Was these QR things. Then you have to, when you're going, if you're going out, or if you're going to have a meal or drinks or whatever, you have to click on things it was just more like, I just want to pay and get a drink, here's my money. But that's frustrating.
It's like we went to Blenheim Palace, as I said, but everything is now, it's like a cash card.
Yeah,
there's no coins anywhere. It's so alien.
Yeah. It puts you off drinking.
Are you sure?
Okay. I've been rumbled.
How do you get around it though? How do you get around it? So you know that there's gonna, you've got to do something online or you've got to use a card. How do you?
I just say I don't know.
Get your teenage son.
And so obviously, definitely I'll have my daughter do it if she's there, but when I've been like in a shop and they say to do this cute thing and I'm like, I don't know how to do it, and said, well, can I just take your email? That's fine. And they just write it down, that's fine. And same in the restaurant as well. When I was going in, I don't know how to do it, and they just took them, so that was not even saying anything about dementia, but they just said, I don't know how to do it. So so people obviously can do things,
but let them help you.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing, that I've got more confident that I can just go and speak to somebody because I have that little card. That's my little thing to keep my security. And I thought, that gives me more confidence when I'm out on my own.
Yes.
I think that's a bit of a theme from our chat today, actually, which is, you do need to say that, I'm having a problem here. This isn't easy for me. Like, can you help me? And I think that can be quite hard if you haven't quite got to a place where you're willing to admit that you're struggling.
But you see, I can do it really easily with strangers, but to actually think to ask somebody, I wonder would somebody give me a lift to something, I find that harder to do. So that, and I know people want to help, they do, I know, but it's much easier for me to just talk, to get help from strangers.
So we've got another question for you guys, and so the first part, the person says, thanks to the panelists for taking part in this. It must be really hard and it shows how strong you all are. And they want to ask, what challenges has having a diagnosis of dementia brought, oh, hang on, I'm not reading that very well, am I? She says, what challenges or affirmations has a diagnosis of dementia brought to you, and how has it affected your loved ones?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think the question is, what are the challenges that have you faced through getting a diagnosis, and how has it affected your loved ones?
I can answer that. It's for me, it's about I'm desperately in love with my wife and always will be, and it just makes life so much easier when knowing that she understands what my diagnosis is, and is very tolerant of that.
Yeah, and what I would say is that the disease is mine, but it's actually mine and Matthew's, really, because we're living it together and with the rest of my family. And I think I feel like it's actually worse for the family than it is for me.
Yeah.
That's the heartbreaking part of it. But we still need to make the best of everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see you all thinking about this question. The tough one, actually.
Yes.
As soon as you put affirmation in there, it's that's right. What does that mean? Yeah, sorry, I'm in jest. It's things like that are just very tricky for me.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of big questions, aren't they? That,
yeah,
like, that do you think like that? Do you go that deep?
Yeah.
I don't think I could go deep very much at all, really, because it's like I have my life. It's not taking it away from me. I don't need to go in deep and find out, I want to live my life, and I know I have Alzheimer's, but I want to make the best of my life and for my family and friends.
I think that's a great answer. So I've got one more question for you, and it's essentially, as lockdown restrictions ease, what's the one thing you're looking forward to doing? Keep it to
Seeing my dad. I want to see my dad.
Yeah, well, I've seen all my family. So happy.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
What about you, Des? What are you looking forward to?
12 oysters.
More oysters.
12 oysters. I have a passion for oysters. And there's a wonderful oyster pub over in the west of Ireland where I was kind of brought up. And I haven't had a feed of oysters in 18 months. And I'm pining for the oysters.
I was pining for the potatoes.
I'll be a good spud.
Very good. Be happy.
What about you, Edward? What are you looking forward to?
I think it's more for me about just getting out of this lockdown and just getting on with things so I can go out and do what I want to do and all those sorts of things. And that's been a bit tricky. So I'm looking forward to that.
Freedom.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
I'll have to get back to football, I'm afraid. A pint in that right end of the ground, in my seat, sometime middle of January, middle of August rather.
Lovely.
Sounds good.
And JD, what are you looking forward to now restrictions are easing?
Tricky one. Driving again, I suppose. I'm waiting for my driving license to be stamped again.
Oh, lucky you.
Which will be okay. If they were sort of lost without being allowed to drive. So.
I agree.
Des and I talked about this in coffee and chat this morning, and I was just saying that you know, about I've given up my license, and I'm the happier for it. It's you know, it was the right time to do it for me, and it was, yeah, it just I made a couple of mistakes and things like that, and I couldn't work out where I was and things like that. So it was the right thing to do at the right time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think. By the time I finally get the opportunity, I just think I might just leave it at that and get the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you remember your mask, mate.
I had it with me, just not on. Oh dear.
Let's stick together though. Let's all be looking to find ways to support each other.
Absolutely.
One thing I've noticed, I don't know whether this is fanciful, but I get the impression that people, despite some of the footy hooliganism, I reckon that most people seem to be reaching out to others these days. There seems to be a bit of slightly more kindly air around. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi.
Tessa, is this because our time's up?
It's really close, but also that was a brilliant time to come in, really. That sort of sense of people reaching out and supporting, and you know, we really hope that will continue and sort of strengthen.
Yeah, that's right. Ultimately, it's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're getting some feedback about what a wonderful group you are. I'm going to read it out. Thank you for speaking so heartfelt and openly today. And I'm going to reflect that as well. There's a strength within each of you as individuals, which offers realism and positive, and you know, that simple, rich life which you mentioned, Jude, and living your living as well as possible, and living fully, which Maeve mentioned as well. And as a group, there's an enormous strength there as well, which is just fabulous to absorb. And you know, other people will absolutely want to sort of have a bit of a share of this. And in fact, there's a question about a similar group for relatives on Zoom, so maybe we can answer that separately outside of this webinar. But look, thank you so much for your really honest and open contributions. Fabulous. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tessa.
I know Kate has put in the chat the link to the ID cards that were mentioned, and you know, do order freely. We will put the link in with the recording the follow-up email, and we'll add the recording link and the link to the ID cards as well, and anything else we think might be useful. As I say, we're taking an August break, and then we'll be back, I think it's around the 15th of September for the next network webinar, tea time webinar. So take tea with us then. Hope you've enjoyed today. Hope you've been inspired by today. I am every month, to be honest, and I hope that's the case for you. So I'm going to close now, and thank you so much for attending, and a last thank you for the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you.